Welcome. Welcome to everybody meeting virtually from all over the place. We're so glad that you're here with us for this brief time that we have together. And we're really excited about sharing with you as we all go through what is a very difficult time. But I just want to start off by introducing myself. If this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Ron Frederick, and I am a clinical psychologist in Los Angeles, California. And Jackie?
Hi, everyone. I don't know if I pop up on the big screen or not.
I see you on the big screen.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm Jackie Frederick-Berner. I happen to be Ron's sister. I'm a mindfulness meditation instructor, and I teach classes and workshops that help people bring mindfulness approaches into their lives, from simple techniques that they can do in the moment to how to make a mindfulness meditation practice, a part of a daily routine. And I'm excited to be here with you all today. Mindfulness meditation has had a really profound effect on my own life, especially during challenging times. So I'm happy and feel grateful to be able to share with you what I know.
So, judging by the amount of people that are here and have signed up, I think it speaks to the challenge, one of the challenges in the very challenging time that we're living through. And that is dealing with our feelings, and in particular, dealing with our anxiety and the fear and the stress, all those feelings that are coming up now, and can feel overwhelming. As Jackie mentioned, mindfulness, emotional mindfulness is something that I've written about, and is really how I think about the work that I do with my clients and that I teach, and the workshops that I do into other people. And emotional mindfulness really is all about bringing the skills of mindfulness to our emotional experience, because it's really in our attuning to and managing our emotional experience that we find our health, and we also find our voice, and become better stewards of our emotional experience. And that's really where we find our center and we find stability. So, like I was saying, just to lead us into this, as I think about it, really the world has been turned upside down in a very short time. And that has a profound effect on us. In more ways than we're probably aware of or want to be aware of. I say that because I think when this first came to pass, so to speak, just a few weeks ago, part of me, I think, was maybe in denial or in opposition to what was happening, and really hoping that I was just going to wake up and there was going to be some good news in the newspaper, and that I could breathe a sigh of relief and we get back to sort of doing life as we were doing it before. And clearly that's not the case. I think it's what I'm realizing, what I'm recognizing, is that I have a lot of feelings that are coming up. And in some ways I wanted to avoid them, and in the hope that it was temporary, but that's not the case. It's really where we find, when we're talking about anxiety or we're talking about any feelings, really, what we need to do is to be able to be mindful of them, lean into them, and move through them. That's really the only way for us to get through things, and it's really the only way, it's really what our feelings need. So that applies to anxiety as well. So anxiety is uncomfortable. It makes us we want to avoid it. There are a host of ways in which we may avoid our anxiety. Maybe we go shopping online, or we look at social media, or we keep checking the news to see if there's something that would be reassuring to us, and or we get caught up in our worries, or we get overly active and engage in whatever it is, or we may even shut down. Those are actually responses to the anxiety, and that we may not even be aware that we're feeling anxious. The first thing that we need to do in order to manage our experience is to recognize what's happening for us. I have a 4-step process that I talk about in both of my books in terms of developing emotional mindfulness. And it starts with recognizing and naming what's going on for us. What do I mean what's going on for us? What's happening for us emotionally inside. So we need to start with awareness and then acceptance. So recognizing that we're having feelings, recognizing that we may be anxious, and accepting that that's the case. We can't go anywhere else until we first recognize what's happening, recognize what we're feeling, what's happening inside of us, and the second step is stop, drop, and stay, which has to do with staying present to our emotional experience. Now, with anxiety, that may seem counterintuitive because anxiety makes us want to run or, distract ourselves. And we think that if we were to lean into our anxiety, that actually it would make us feel more anxious. But that's actually not the case. It's almost like it's knocking on the door, like saying, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. And it needs us to say, oh, I'm feeling anxious. That's what's happening right now. We actually have research that shows that when we identify what's going on for us emotionally, activity in the part of our brain that tells us that we're in danger calms down. So if we can recognize it and then begin to lean into it, we're actually engaging in a process that's going to get us to a better place. Having said that, I'm going to shift over now to Jackie, who's going to lead us through a meditation with these things in mind and help us to make some space, to be with ourselves, to begin to notice what's happening and stay present with it together here.
Great, Ron. Before we start, can I just ask you if you could just look through the participants and make sure everybody's muted? Because I am hearing some rustling around.
I can actually mute everyone again and then unmute you.
Okay.
So let me do it, guys.
Hands off the mute button.
You should be fine, Jackie.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me, Ron?
Well,
okay.
I can.
Great. Okay. So this leads us to the mindfulness meditation practice. And the great thing about meditation is that it is a way for us to practice becoming familiar with our thought patterns and our emotions. Because when we sit in meditation, all of those thoughts and all of those emotions and feelings that we have in our everyday lives are going to be there with us on the cushion, like little visitors. And when we're able to sit with them and see what's happening, emotions become more apparent as we're going about our lives off the cushion. So it's a really kind of a way to get to know yourself and kind of make friends with what's inside of you. So let's give it a go. I'd like to invite you to take a moment just to get comfortable in your chair or wherever you're sitting. If you even feel like you want to lie down, that's okay too. Just find the best position for you. And you can shut your eyes if you'd like, or just rest your gaze downward. And take a few deep breaths. You can breathe as loudly as you want. We can't hear you, but as you inhale, feel an expansion and a receiving. And your exhale is a release, a loosening, a freeing up. And just take a moment to notice yourself sitting here. And just acknowledge whatever thoughts and emotions you've shown up with, knowing that they're completely normal. They're natural. They're manageable. Just take a few more breaths. And now gently move your attention away from your thoughts to the sensations in your forehead and around your eyes. Soften and let go of any tension. Allow your jaw to release. Become aware of your shoulders and just feel the weight of your shoulders as they move down away from your neck. Relax your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. Just let your hands rest easy. And let go of any tension in your upper legs. Soften your knees. Soften your lower legs. Let your legs and your feet feel heavy and sink into the ground. Now just notice the feeling of your breath moving in and out of your body at its own pace. And just trust that your breath will find its natural rhythm. Just kind of get out of your breath's way. Breathing in, know you're breathing in. Breathing out, know you're breathing out. Just maintain that awareness of your breath. Just allow yourself to rest with your breath. And as you rest with your breath, see if it's possible to expand your awareness, to notice the sensations in your entire body. Just open up. Your body is vibrating with energy at every moment. The energy may be subtle, or it may be more obvious in spots. Whatever is there, see if you can bring a sense of curiosity and openness as you slowly scan your body from head to toe and become aware of all the sensations you're experiencing. What's here? Just notice. Let your attention be called to whatever sensations might stand out. Just being here with whatever feelings and sensations come up in any moment without judging them, without reacting to them, without creating a storyline around them. Just notice what's here. When we do this, when we become aware of a feeling in our body, we create a little space between ourselves and what we're experiencing. And we give whatever is there an opportunity to be seen, to be acknowledged, and also to soften and loosen. So you're resting with your breath, just open to yourself. Your mind might get distracted and wander off. Don't worry, that's what minds do. If anxious thoughts or fears come up, be kind to them. See if you can open your heart to them the way a good parent would comfort a child. It's okay. Whatever you're feeling is okay. Just bringing your awareness back to your breath and your body as you sit here. Let each sensation be just as it is. And if you feel discomfort, Incline toward it gently and softly in your mind. Simply sitting, moment to moment, being fully present, fully with yourself. Keep coming back to that gentle wave of breath. As you make space inside for thoughts and feelings to dissipate and pass. And this is a way to take care of ourselves when we keep coming back to ourselves in the present moment. By acknowledging and giving space to what we're thinking and feeling. By giving ourselves the space of awareness. By just being with instead of fighting or feeding those thoughts and emotions. And if those thoughts or emotions feel like too much, you can always just return to your breath. And rest there. So when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes and gently come back to the room, taking in your surroundings. And just take a minute to notice how you feel. So you've just practiced what Ron has been talking about, allowing yourself to experience how feelings and emotions show up in your body. And through meditation practice, we can allow our emotions to just be and practice meeting them with openness and compassion. And when we do that, sometimes we find that they're not like solid, unmovable masses. There's like a feeling of them being transient. And, when we think of the word emotion, there's that word motion in there. And actually, the Latin translation of emotion means to move out. So our emotions, that's their natural inclination, is to move out. It's we who block them or keep them going, keep them here. So I hope that was helpful.
Well, I certainly feel more relaxed. Um, Thanks, Jackie. That was so lovely, and I so appreciate what you're saying throughout and what you were just saying. Um, Really, there is a beginning, middle, and end to our emotions. They're like waves in the ocean. Uh, we may have a lot of them, but energetically, they're meant to move through us. Um, and like Jackie was saying, it's the things. There's a chat. Thank you so much. I do feel better. That's great to hear, Deb. Um, uh, what was I saying?
Emotions have a beginning, a middle, and an
Yeah,
end.
it's the things that we do, our defenses, the ways that we avoid our feelings and our anxiety that keep them hanging around. Um, Now, having said that, I also understand that it can still feel overwhelming and um, and hard to manage at times. So there are a number of different tools that we can use to take the edge off our anxiety. And I want to take a moment to teach one to you, one that I teach people and I share with my clients. Let me just tell you about it and then we can do it. This is a breathing exercise, and we all know the phrase, you're stressed, take a deep breath. And there's some wisdom to that. However, how we breathe has an effect on our nervous system, directly affects our nervous system. If we're breathing like this, it's activating our nervous system. So, if we take a deep breath and then let it out like that, that's actually activating. What research has shown us is that it's actually a slow exhale that kickstarts the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the branch of our nervous system that puts the brakes on. It's basically the brain gets the message that it's time to calm down, danger has passed. The parasympathetic nervous system gets stimulated and things slow down. Now, letting an exhale out slowly is actually not easy to do either, right? So it's almost like you're having to hold your breath as you're letting the air out. There is a tool or a technique called resistance breathing, which helps to achieve that and is actually simple to do. And so now I'm going to teach it to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a breath. You can breathe in through your nose or your mouth. And then I want you to purse your lips, make a small hole so that just a little bit of air escapes. It's like you're letting out air out of a balloon, right? And that hole that you're creating with your lips is providing resistance. That's why it's called resistance breathing. So feel the air moving out slowly. And let's do this several times as I'm talking. And what you may notice as you're doing it is, one, you feel the pressure against your lips. The other is that you may notice that you also feel pressure in your lungs, in your chest. And that pressure in your lungs is also stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system. So we take a breath, you let it out slowly at a comfortable rate. You don't want to feel like, you're gasping for air when you get to the end. And we do this 3 or 4 times. And just notice what happens in your body as you're doing that. Now, this is something that you can be doing at any time. And what I can tell you is that it's pretty inconspicuous. So the advantage of that is that you could do it anywhere. You could be in a meeting, you could be, chatting with friends. You could be in your car, going somewhere, and you can be standing online at the grocery store and getting worried about, am I going to come in contact? Is there, what's going to happen? What's happening here? Or you may feel the energy of other people's anxiety, which is contagious. And then we practice awareness. So what do we want to be aware of? We want to be aware of how our body's reacting, because that's where our feelings manifest themselves in our bodies. And then you take a breath and you let it out slowly. And you take another breath and you let it out slowly. And in this way, you're taking care of yourself. You're attending to your felt experience. It's like what Jackie said, which I really love. You're parenting and caring for your nervous system, or the little one inside of you that starts to feel anxious or feel other people's anxiety. There's so many things that, we're having to deal with. And having anxiety at this time, as Jackie was saying, is completely normal. There are many things that feel scary, that feel overwhelming. Beyond the virus, it may be the stress of being in close quarters with our loved ones, not being able to do the things that we might do that help us to regulate our experience. Worried about, our finances, what's going to happen next. A lot of uncertainty, which, we deal with every day, regardless. But in this situation, it's exacerbated. So practicing mindfulness and practicing meditation really helps to develop our relationship with ourselves and to strengthen the parts of our brain that help us meet our emotional experience with more equanimity. And as Jackie was saying, with space to allow for it and to allow us to move through it. And mindfulness is also something that is not just practiced during meditation. Meditation helps us to strengthen the skills of mindfulness. But growing our mindfulness skills is something that we can do at any time. And now more than ever, it's really so essential that we're paying attention to what's going on inside of us, because that's where it all shows up. So there's a phrase, little and often. So we can be doing these things little and often over time. And little and often is how we develop strengths. And it's also how our brain develops new neural pathways. And as we do this often throughout our day, attending to, noticing I'm feeling anxious or whatever it is, that I'm feeling sad, that I'm feeling afraid, that I'm feeling angry, that I'm feeling something and I don't even know what it is that I'm feeling. And we turn inward and we notice how that experience shows up in our body. And we allow ourselves to breathe, and we allow ourselves to stay present to it for a moment. And we recognize the energy of it, and we just accept what is there, and we befriend it. We are working and developing these muscles. It's a lifelong process, right? And sometimes comes to us more easily than others. And we hope that in being with you today, we can help to, one, create the time and you have this lovely meditation that you can also take with you in the recording and be able to come back to. And that we all, because we're collectively going through this, it's our human experience, turn inward. And as we take care of ourselves, we're also better able to take care of others. So we have a few minutes left, and we just wanted to open the floor up for any questions that you might have. And if you would like to ask a question, just unmute yourself. There's a icon at the bottom left-hand side of your screen. You can click on it, and when you start to talk, we'll see you. And love to hear whether it's a question or an observation, a reaction. Just naming what's there for you.
Hi, Ron. I don't know if you can see me. This is Richard Schaefer. I'm with my wife, Allie. And we just want to thank you and Jackie. That was very peaceful and very helpful.
Thank you so much.
Rich and his wife, Allie, take meditation classes with me regularly. So they've been doing that.
That's why we're as strong as we are today.
Oh.
Thank you, Allie.
Really.
Beth?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Anyone else? Lois, did you want to say something?
Well, I also wanted to thank you both. I took a lot out of both of your presentations. I had never done that type of breathing, the restricted breathing, and it was very, very good. Right now I have a lot of pain because sitting is kind of a problem, but the restricted breathing was very useful. And Jackie, I really enjoyed what you said as well. So thank you both for doing this and being there.
Thank you, Lois, for your comments. And if sitting is hard for you, just know that if you would like to meditate, you can do it in any position that's comfortable for you. You can do it lying down as well. I mean, these are challenging times, so we don't want to make the meditation, the physical manifestation of the meditation challenging for us. We need to take care of ourselves and give ourselves a break. So just know you can like lie on your couch or lie in your bed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I was kind of leaning into it and
Okay.
feeling it, you know,
Good.
instead of just feeling the pain, I was trying to experience what the pain was.
Hi, my name is Julia, and I'm a beginning meditator. And I was wondering if you had any advice for perhaps doing sort of like shorter meditations, or if there was a way to break it up to do, I don't know, maybe a few a day, or like, I don't know, one at lunch, or just, I don't know, perhaps to not have it be so overwhelming to be so long.
Yeah, Julia. So I like to tell my my students who are just starting out to start out with a small amount of meditation and just see what's comfortable for you. You know, maybe start out with 5 minutes, 5 minutes every other day, and just feel it out. And gradually you can, you know, as you get used to it, as you get used to sitting, as you get used to breathing and being there with your thoughts, you'll probably be inclined to lengthen your meditation a bit. But I would say just take it slowly. And you know, the good news about that they have found about meditation, they're saying that just 8 minutes is enough to change your brain, to, just bring down the activity in that part of your brain, the amygdala, the flight, fight, fear center, and bring online the part of your brain that is soothing and that can help you regulate. So don't get caught up in, I've got to meditate for 30 minutes a day every day. Just take it at your own pace and know that even just a little, as Ron said, what was your phrase?
It's little and often.
Little and often make much.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie?
Okay.
Yes?
I also use an app on my phone
Great.
called Insight Timer.
I do that. I do too.
I use the free one, and they have all kinds of lengths, from 5 minutes. It helps me to have a guided meditation.
Yeah,
That's a great point, Lois. I mean, there are so many good apps out there that can guide you through all different kinds of meditation, and even meditation, specifically for anxiety. Headspace is one of them. I use Insight Timer. So yeah, just do a Google search on meditation apps. Very helpful. Thank you.
And what I want to add to that is the practice of mindfulness and emotional mindfulness, again, occurs anytime we turn our attention to our internal experience. Meditation is growing our ability to attend to our internal experience and to be able to find the space so that we can have our experience and not be swept up in the reactivity, right? We can look at it a little more objectively. And our emotions that are arising throughout our day require something similar, and that happens every time we just tune into what's going on for us. And when we tune into what's going on for us, we're calling on our observer, which is a part of our brain that's strengthened through meditation, where we're looking at and both being with, so it's participatory observation. We're participating in our experience and we're observing it. And so the last person who was asking about doing shorter things, I would also encourage all of us to be building that into our lives. It's a practice that we want to cultivate, especially at any time, but especially when we're having an emotional experience, to stop, to recognize and look at it and stay present to it. And you're actually developing emotional muscles when you do that. So, and our lives give us countless opportunities to do that.
Lois, what app was it you said you used?
Insight Timer.
Insight Timer, thank you.
Yes, they put me to sleep every night. I do yoga nidra.
So
it's also a good one, Calm, that Richie and I use.
Great.
Thanks.
Yeah, but the guided meditation for Lois, because you were concerned about, I guess you're just starting, guided meditation kind of is great at the moment, and it also trains you to do it on your own.
Wonderful. So guys, we are at the end of our time for today.
This is recorded, so I could forward it.
It is recorded, and you will get a follow-up email that will give you access to it.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we want to thank you all for being here. It touches and moves us to have you here and to make contact. And contact, especially during this time, is just important in general, but especially during this time. And like I said, we'll be sending out an email that will have a link to this meeting here today, a recording of it that you will can use. And Jackie and I are going to be talking about other ways in which we can come back and be helpful to all of you. So look forward to hearing from us soon, and we look forward to seeing you again. We want to wish you all well.